My name is Sheba. I live in Northern Virginia in the US, and I'm originally from Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, and I'm also half Eritrean. I've been a Pan-African since my MUN, Model United Nations, days back in primary school at Sanford. I am a wife and a mother of 2 children. I'm self-employed and have a couple of businesses. I support my husband's lounge in Virginia, and I also have a project management firm, Push Start Consulting, through which I run various projects for mostly African and women-owned small businesses. I have a degree in government and politics from the University of Maryland and worked on my MBA and PMP. But throughout my life, I've mostly worked in private sector for big corps like the Big Four, mostly in IT and software implementation projects. My specialty was in managing change, and I'm a change management and process implementation expert, which I think really fits well with just about everything that I do. In my business now, years after leaving corporate, I engage in virtually all kinds of projects from a variety of clients in construction management to sales and marketing, coffee imports and distribution businesses, operational growth for small firms, marketing and PR for brands, etc., etc. I also run an audio, podcast, and video production studio that I was initially utilizing for marketing work for my Push Start clients, which I branched out into Push Start Media Services in 2019. Given that I have a music and artist background and I'm a self-taught savvy engineer, I find that this is more aligned to my true passion, which is why I stick to that a lot. With PS Media, I have created several shows regarding entrepreneurship, social and civic issues, US local politics, advocacy, political panels and forums, and several podcasts like Party Politics US, where members of the NBCSL, other US representatives, scholars, and leaders and influencers, etc., have participated. And more recently, I started to support independent journalists through editing, storyboarding, and videography while advocating against disinformation about Ethiopia and Eritrea over the past 2 years. I've recently also got in front of the camera and started producing news reports. I did so for a while with Get Facts as a result of the need to own and control our own narratives. But I've also done some independent reporting from the ground to expose a lot of the misinformation that's been waged against my country and the Horn of Africa in general. Discovering firsthand the impacts of neocolonial foreign policies and negative roles that the international agencies and major media giants are playing in Africa has become a focal point for my media work now. Although I do still try to jump into other significant issues and topics that affect Black and brown people all over the world and underserved people from Africa to Europe and where I live in the United States, this right here is what I'm mostly passionate about. My number one goal is to really create platforms where we as Africans can talk about our collective achievements, our struggles and objectives without having to beg or qualify for a mainstream audience. An important characteristic of mine, for anyone who's wondering, like, who is Sheba and what is she talking about? Because I just said a whole lot, is that I am a firm believer in saying it as it is, and I don't believe in dressing up words or playing political gymnastics when the truth, as ugly as it may be, is right in front of us, especially when lives, human beings, are at stake. That said, I also think it's wise not only to pick our audience, but to treat African matters like family matters. Hence why I'm a big believer that we are more than capable of solving our own problems, and I don't really do well with pandering to Western governments, especially when the ends hardly ever are for our collective favor. Finally, I believe true progress comes from honesty and genuine intentions, and that those things are ultimately what will teach and illuminate the youth, to whom we have an obligation to inform, to prepare, and empower to take the reins for the next season in Africa, which I believe is going to be spectacular and the best it's ever been. That said, we have a lot of work to do, and organizations that are passionate, committed, and intentional need to be supported and empowered. As a process optimizer, I don't believe in duplicitous work and wish we could just collectively divide and conquer based on our greater strengths. But as a mother, I have learned that a lot of patience is required, especially as we stumble through the beginnings of an African economic, political, and cultural revolution. But I'm stubborn and I'm a Taurus, so I'm determined to stay the course. My parents have raised me to be a proud African woman. I am unafraid and equipped to handle the things of our generation. But as a Pan-African, I feel it's my job and my duty to teach as many people as I can the things that I've learned, the things that have made me successful, but also it's equally as important to document and teach where we have failed without minimizing, so that the impacts of our missteps can be measured to their full extent in order to first understand the whys and then learn how to develop true solutions so the next generation can completely avoid repeating the same mistakes. So that's all about me. Thank you.